One afternoon, curiosity led Rosalina to a forgotten room deep within the castle's walls. It was a place where old memories slept, wrapped in dust and silence. Among the scattered books and yellowed papers, her eyes caught a worn leather-bound book, with the royal crest shining faintly on its cover. She opened the book slowly, revealing sketches of three boys, faces unfamiliar, yet somehow stirring a quiet ache in her heart. Alongside the drawings were letters written in her mother's tender hand, filled with love and longing. Rosalina's breath caught as she traced a faded family portrait her and three boys, all together once. A sudden warmth spread through her chest. Something she never knew, something waiting to be found. Rosalina softly. Could they be my brothers? That evening, Rosalina returned to the garden where she had once laughed and dreamed. She held the silver locket close, a gift from her mother, passed down like a secret whisper. Inside, a tiny portrait showed three smiling boys, her brothers, lost to time but never to her heart. Her eyes glistened with tears, yet her voice was steady, filled with quiet resolve. Rosalina, if they are out there, I will find them. Somehow, I will bring us back together. The forest was vast and full of whispered secrets. Rosalina pressed forward, weary but determined. Her foot caught on a slippery stone, near a sparkling stream, and she tumbled down, the precious locket slipping from her fingers onto the mossy earth. As she scrambled to catch it, the sudden sound of footsteps made her freeze. The three men, tall, strong, and unfamiliar, stared at the tiny faces inside the locket. Their eyes widened as recognition dawned. One stepped forward, voice trembling with emotion. Brother, this is her. This is our sister. Tears glistened in their eyes as years of silence broke like dawn. Rosalina stayed with her brothers in their quiet forest home. Days passed with shared stories, gentle laughter, and new memories born from old wounds. Though far from the castle, they found a warmth that no palace could hold. But even as the night grew peaceful, a silent question waited: would the family ever be truly whole again? While her brothers worked each day, the princess cooked, cleaned, and cared for the cottage. One sunny afternoon, she decided to make gifts for them, 3 roses for their clothes. But as soon as she picked the glowing flowers, the sky turned dark. Magic sparkles rose into the air, the wind howled, and glowing dust spun around her brothers. In an instant, they turned into pigeons and flew above her head. The princess dropped the roses, eyes wide with shock. From the mist, the old woman stepped forward with a cold smile. The witch's curse was clear: 3 years without speaking, crying, or smiling. The princess accepted without hesitation. She began sewing quietly each day, never making a sound, her heart heavy but her love unbroken. One morning, by a quiet stream, she bent to fill her pot with water. A young prince, passing through the forest, saw her calm beauty and gentle hands. Though she said nothing, something in her presence made him stay longer. In the quiet forest, the girl walked beside the prince. Sunlight slipped through the tall trees, painting golden patterns on the ground. Rosalina could not speak, but her gentle eyes told him everything. The prince stopped, looked at her for a long moment, and spoke softly. Will you be my wife? Her heart leapt. Rosalina gave a small nod. The prince smiled, his eyes warm like sunlight breaking through clouds. Without another word, they walked out of the forest together, towards the shining towers of the palace. The wedding was like a dream. Silk banners danced in the wind, golden lamps lit the night, and music filled the air. The prince held her hand tightly, as if promising to never let go. Even though she stayed silent, his love shielded her from every question, every doubt. But not all hearts were kind. The prince's mother, the queen, watched her closely. Her eyes were sharp, her smile thin. Why does she never speak? The queen wondered. Weeks turned into months, and her suspicion grew heavier. One morning, news came that the prince must travel to a nearby kingdom. He kissed his bride's forehead and promised to return soon. Rosalina watched him ride away, her heart already missing him. Now alone with her daughter-in-law, the queen's suspicion twisted into hatred. She whispered to her servants, weaving a cruel plan. That very day, she decided, the silent girl would be gone forever. But fate had its own magic. That day marked exactly 3 years since the curse had stolen the Rosalina's voice. As the queen's plan moved forward, a rush of wind swept into the palace courtyard. 3 white pigeons landed, and in a shimmer of light, it changed into 3 young men, her long-lost brothers. Tears filled her eyes. She opened her mouth, and this time, her voice flowed like music. Brothers. The queen froze in shock. The prince returned at that very moment, his eyes widening at the sight of his bride, speaking, laughing, her face glowing with joy. His love deepened more for his wife. The brothers told him everything: the curse, the years of silence, the false prophecy that had shadowed her life. The next morning, the prince, Rosalina, and her brothers rode together towards her true home. Across fields and rivers they traveled, until the towers of her childhood palace rose in the distance. Her parents, who had waited and grieved for years, ran to meet her and her brothers with tears and open arms. The courtyard glowed beneath the setting sun, its light catching in the tears that streamed down her parents' faces. They held her as if afraid she might vanish again. Her brothers stood beside her, smiling through their own tears, while the prince watched from a step away, his heart full at the sight of her joy. The silence ended. The curse was gone. Surrounded by family and the prince who loved her, Rosalina's forever had arrived at last.